I'm the host of the new podcast show called The Power of Islands, and I'm here along with my very good friend Guilherme. And today actually, the date is January 20th in 2024, and we're going on about 6 o'clock in the evening, Brazil time. And we're planning to be joined here very shortly by a very special guest. Rob Gawther is the founder and the creator of E.T. Whisperer. And Rob is going to be here with us shortly to discuss the work that he does in the area of extraterrestrial intelligence and research and development and channeling, specifically how he has a technique of channeling with extraterrestrial intelligence, and estimate of somewhere around 1,000 different or more different interactions and experiences that he's had with a variety of different ETs here on planet Earth and elsewhere throughout the galaxy. So it's very exciting. It's kind of a little bit different of a show for us, but intelligence in general, in consciousness specifically, is what we discuss here in the Power of Islands podcast. Everything that we do in life is intelligence, I guess is a way of putting it. And a lot of people do not realize, but intelligence has two components that make up the word intelligence. So when somebody says, "Are you intelligent?" there's actually two parts to that. And the first part is the most commonly recognized form of intelligence, which is called active intelligence. And that's only 1% of intelligence. So the two parts is 1% active, and the other part is 99% silent. That is amazing. Actually, in the silence is where the majority of intelligence is. So even with this podcast, and by explaining and being active in our intelligence, active intelligence means that you have the ability to explain and to educate people and have communications in like verbal communications and written communications, anything active. That is 1% of intelligence. And so Rob is going to be talking with us here shortly about tapping into the silent intelligence. And that is what really excites me specifically in this conversation today, in this episode of the Power of Islands podcast, is going to be very special. And it's hopefully an episode, I think it's episode 9 of a series that we've been recording now as part of a multimedia platform and broadcasting station, a reality 5D TV and web intelligent web show called Brazil Real, the Brazil Real Show. And underneath the Brazil Real Show umbrella is this show called The Power of Islands. And also we have several other shows. Ask David Why, for example, is another show. Ask David Why. And in that show, you can ask any question to me, and I will research it thoroughly if I already don't have the answer in common sense. And so another show that we do under Brazil Real's umbrella is a Cafe Philo show, which is in a morning edition, and that have a cup of coffee. And Cafe Philo is all about philosophy and religion, integrating intelligent ideas. And it is an active form of intelligence. There's a process of sharing information before the Cafe Philo so people can do a little bit of homework and preparation. That way, during Cafe Philo, we can really jump into the subject and really evolve in our consciousness and elevate the understandings that we have. And everything in Cafe Philo that we talk about is based on math and science. In philosophy, philosophy also is math and science based. It has a history. And so we can go back in the philosophical history with all of the different very important peoples in the human development, and we can discuss how their philosophies have changed and evolved human consciousness. So in other shows, we are going to be recording on this platform, the Brazil Real show. We're going to be recording 1 hour segments, episodes, and it's going to be a digital library. And in the future, when people access the applicativo to get into the show, to see the recorded episodes, people are going to be able to get credit, one-time coin or one-time token. It's a token credit system. And when you watch one of the hours, you actually get and you earn credit for watching that. The information that we are offering here is quite the opposite of what perhaps other people have been programmed to believe in our society. And that is really the problem that we face right now in relationship to our human evolution. The fact is, we are kept separated from the common sense of consciousness, and we are led to believe things that are totally false, and we are being lied to and deceived. But I'm not pointing fingers at any specific group like the WHO, the World Health Organization, or the World Economic Forum, or any of these deep state suspicious groups. We are one. We are one human consciousness. We are one soul, and there is no separation. Although the information that we are have access to and that we are being fed is not correct, it is important for our overall human consciousness. Everything in consciousness, every person, place, and thing, everything that's possible and everything that's impossible has an innate soul. The soul, what drives the life force of our ability to interact like this, our ability to animate ideas and concepts and philosophies and beliefs. This is the process of our cognitive behavior and our understanding. And today, in a few moments here, we're coming up on the hour, and Rob is supposed to join us in about 5 minutes. And Rob's perspective is rather unique, maybe a little bit questionable in some ways because it's so unique. It's so different. And one of the areas we're going to be talking to Rob about specifically related to extraterrestrial intelligence is an entity that has been spoken about here in Brazil. Many other people in places around the world probably do not know the name Bilu, and that's spelled Bilu. Bilu Et is an entity that has been here in Brazil in a city called Zergurats, Ziqurats, Zergurats City, which is in the southern area of Brazil's coast. And in this city, an organization called Docula Ecosystems, is an organization that focuses on research and development for technologies, especially quantum and 5D technologies. So in the city, Zergurats, there's claims, and there's also photos, and there's also living testimonial experience that this entity, Bilu Et, has appeared, and also that they have UFO sightings and other phenomenon that's unexplained, unidentified flying objects, and other types of intelligence. And that is what Rob's going to be talking with us here. How do we tap into that intelligence? How can we actually prove mathematically and scientifically that an entity like Bilu exists, and that Bilu is actually trying to help evolve human consciousness within limits? Apparently, extraterrestrials have certain standards, I guess, or rules of conduct. I'm not sure about all the details, and that's why I'm excited actually to talk with Rob today. So I don't know if you are still with us, Guilherme. Are you still with us? Are you listening along, or are you passively in silence? It seems like you're in silence, and that's where the most intelligent place to be, actually. So, well, in a couple more minutes, we're almost on the top of the hour. We're going to try to limit this call. I believe Rob has about 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and most of the discussion will be coming from him, Rob, the ET Whisperer. And you can Google ET Whisperer also on Facebook. Rob is quite popular, and he gets out there and is really spreading his message quite extensively now. The subject of extraterrestrial intelligence in the United States, especially, but all over the world, is a subject of great debate and concern right now. In Congress, in the United States, there is a disclosure project with Dr. Stephen Greer and a group of whistleblowers, about 200 whistleblowers from all agencies of NASA, CIA, FBI, the Federal Reserve. Every agency has been affected by extraterrestrial engagements or experiences or phenomenon. And so the Disclosure Project right now is an attempt to release all of the files and documents and blueprints of these technologies that can generate, I'm not going to say free energy, but ample, abundant energy that we can create systems to tie into this perpetual energy field, which will save the earth. And it actually create a lot of jobs. It's not free energy, and it's going to require new technologies to be developed for us to be able to access and be able to put to use these energies. But what's nice about the energies is that they don't have batteries. The devices in our future will not be battery powered, and we will not have to recharge a device. What will happen is on demand, when you need the device, that's when the energy will pulse into the device and give it the life force that's necessary to conduct whatever you're doing. For example, like this podcast and this live streaming, and to give us enough power. And that comes back to the power of islands and this podcast and the topic of what is power, what is force, because we know that power and force are two opposite uh, poles, the positive and the negative. And so, what we try to help teach people is to stay centered. And to do that, it's simple. You just got to stay present. And to stay present, you need to be awake and you need to be conscious. So, hopefully, at any moment, Rob is going to be jumping on. And I believe that he's on the East Coast. I'm not sure, around Washington, I believe, but maybe Rob will be able to help describe his living circumstances and also Belu ET. Hopefully, Rob will be able to help share what he knows about Belu ET, and also maybe even be able to channel right here live today with us to access Belu ET intelligence. If not, maybe that's something that we have to schedule and try to organize to make it more of a planned event, I guess. Although the planning is what makes most events unsuccessful. And so right now we're still holding. Hopefully he's going to be coming online any minute. Guilherme, are you with us? Okay, Guilherme still seems to be in silence. And I'm going to be in silence for a minute here as well. I'm going to send Rob a message, a quick message to let him know that we're on. And we'll see where we go from there. And hopefully he pops on here any second. If you want, you can fast forward the people listening to this recording. This is a live recording. We are streaming on YouTube channel under Galermi's channel, and we're creating a digital library. One of the important pieces of information about our podcast specifically, which makes it unique from a lot of other venues that I experience, is that we do not use a script. Everything is in real time, REAL, real, and we like to keep things real. And so, as we are recording, even as frustrating sometimes as it is, we do not edit messages. For example, time delays like this, we allow things to happen. All we can do is supply people with the information on where to be and when to be there, but we can't control things in the moment. Everything is happening at its own pace in an imperfection. There's nothing that we can do to make this moment better or worse. It is what it is. And so we do not edit, we do not modify any of the transmissions. We keep it pure, even though we do make mistakes in that there are errors of judgment in certain words that we may choose to use might not be the most appropriate at the moment. However, in retroflection, looking back, we can explain why that was the moment. And so we don't make any edits, and we don't delete messages and things like that. So everything is transparent with us, which as a consumer of information should be encouraging to you, because the fact is, all these edits and all of these things with Facebook and all of the manipulation and the game playing and just changing and just being totally unpredictable, and trying to control life and trying to control the moment, we're really we oppose that type of activity. And so we keep things as live and fresh as possible. Right now it's 5 minutes after the hour at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 19th, 2024. And so we're here waiting for Rob Gother from the ET Whisperer. I just sent him a message to kind of tickle him, to get him to come onto this room and to chat with us. Not sure how quickly that's going to happen. I know Rob is very busy. It's taken several months to actually schedule this moment of time. So even though we're in the present moment, we had to plan for this. And so plans don't always work out the way you predicted it. And this is the challenge and some of the anxiety that we have. Obviously we want to do the things to the best of our capability. And the only way to do it is to have trust in God. And so here we are waiting a little bit. Let's see what happens. Hopefully Rob will come on here in a moment. Hello, we are doing a live stream here. I'm David the Indian, and I am the host of this new podcast called The Power of Islands. And we are here on a very powerful island called Evolution Island off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, in the city of San Sebastian. A beautiful place, not only to visit, but to live. And the power of islands is what drives everything in this community. We have a series of 7 islands just off of the coast, Evolution being in the center of these 7 islands. And evolution stands for our conscious evolution. And we focus our efforts here in the areas of science, research, and investigation of all different types of intelligence. In fact, today, we're waiting right now for Rob Gawther from the ET Whisperer to talk to Rob about extraterrestrial intelligence and channeling with these entities to actually have open communications like the CE5 methodology that Dr. Stephen Greer prescribes. And CE5 stands for close encounter of the 5th kind. The 3rd kind of encounter is when the alien visits the human. The 5th kind, CE5, is when the human actually contacts the alien. And that's the highest level of exchange and communication that we can have with intelligence and directly with consciousness. We are all one consciousness. People don't understand that in many fields. We came from the same place in origin. That place is called 0.00 absolute. And that is a scientific fixed reference point. The only fixed reference point in our universe is 0.00 absolute. And that point is what gives us the ability to create, like the Matrix, like a GPS location, a grid, what we call the smart grid, or even the crystalline smart grid. Because now we understand the Matrix better than the Matrix understands itself. And that is our power and our human power to be able to evolve consciously, to take the information that we know as being true and factual, for example, the theory of relativity and gravity, and to take that information and elevate our understanding, to add as much as we can without altering the purity of and the innocence of what our consciousness is all about. It's just wonderful to be alive. And one of the questions actually we ask of people when they come here to Evolution Island, we ask many simple questions, but one of the first questions is, do you want to live? And when people answer that, normally people say, yes, yes, of course. And then after they answer the question, the next question we ask is, do you want to live forever? And usually the response is very quick and instant, almost instantly. People respond and say, no way. There's no way that I want to live forever. I'm happy living for the time period, but forever is a very long time. And if I can live forever, that is a miracle. And miracles do happen. And we're waiting here for another miracle for Rob Gawther from the ET Whisperer to come on this live stream with us. He's been invited, and we're looking forward to his contact. This is like an ET contact. We don't know Rob. Rob doesn't know us. There is no script. If it happens, it was meant to be. If it doesn't happen, there's a purpose or a reason why it doesn't happen. But we've done everything in our power to communicate and to prepare for this moment. However, the moment has its own life force. The moment of consciousness operates independently. It's not waiting for us to make the moment better. It's only what it is. And so we're waiting here. We're going to wait just a few more minutes. Rob said that he only had a limited time today anyways, so if he's running behind other appointments and other responsibilities, we may not be able to get him on here today. So we're just trying to be patient, trying to be prayerful, and see what the moment brings.
Hello, David. So, how long more minutes are you want to wait for the guests?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a good question, Guilherme. What do you suggest?
I don't know. A lot of guys have talked to you. He said it's all right 5 p.m. or he said I'm gonna be late.
He
He said
hasn't
something.
responded. The guy Rob is very busy, and the only communications that I have with him is email. And so he confirmed last week, and this week I sent him the link. I did not hear back from him. So, you
Oh,
know,
so let's give him more 5 minutes. If you're not
yeah,
coming in,
yeah. I mean, we are recording this. This is part of the process of having a communications platform that's not strictly controlled. You know, we try to do things when things want to be done. And
yeah.
so the planning, one of the things that I'm dealing with right now is trying to organize all of these interviews. Keep in mind, the work that we're doing is challenging for one person. That's why we're trying to create the cooperative, because
Mm.
me alone doing everything it's not sustainable. And you joining in is very helpful, but we still need more capacity. We need to really fine tune the message that we're sending out. For example, when we do these episodes, in the description of the episode, the wording that the public is going to see to even click on to watch the episode needs to be very detailed. It needs to have the power of islands specifically, because in the future, when people go into YouTube and type in the power of islands, those words are going to come up to our show, the Power of Islands podcast show. But if we use the word the power of island or some other sequence of words and not specifically staying constant, we need to be consistent, is what I'm saying. And in the description, for example, this episode with Rob Gother, the ET Whisperer, it should say the date, January 20th, 2024. Interview with Rob Gother, ET Whisperer, channeler, some type of information that when people do the word search on YouTube to get to the channel, that we can drive people to the channel, because right now we're being lost. I don't think we get one like or one listener to any of the episodes, and the episodes are vital, and they're interesting, and people are going to enjoy these episodes. And the guest speakers, they're lined up right now all over the world. Some of the best scientists, like Rob Gother. The reason why it's a little difficult to get Rob is because he's in demand. He has a full schedule every day. I mean, he has an agent actually that books his stuff. He's not working alone. What he is doing is focusing on his work with extraterrestrial intelligence. That's what he's focused on. He has a whole team of other people that help him out. And that's what I'm hoping that we can put together, is a group of people, so that we can be really professional and not cut corners and not try to just do something just to do it. We need to have the end result in mind. And it's all about customer engagement and getting the subscriptions to the channel, and getting the followers. Everything, that all the metrics that Facebook and Meta and Instagram and everything are watching for. We need to reach that threshold of capacity. And so some of the other episodes, maybe, I don't know, can we go in and can we change some of the wording of how we're presenting some of those episodes, Guy? Is that easy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do?
yeah, yeah. That episode, I think we don't need to put we can delete them because I don't know if you want to leave there, okay, but doesn't have any guests here. Didn't come in any guests. So how about tomorrow? How is the plan for tomorrow? The for the schedules for tomorrow.
Actually, tonight, in a half an hour, we have another interview in Los Angeles, California, with Pamela Gregory, and so we're going to try to this. Maybe we could shut off and come back on. Take a
Yeah.
15-minute break or whatever. You can still record this episode. We want to record everything, whether or not people access
Okay.
it or
Good.
not. So we
Okay.
want to have a
But just
complete library. Yeah.
yeah, but just
We don't
unsure if the guys coming before. Check with the guys because we have tomorrow. What time is tomorrow?
The only thing that I have scheduled tomorrow is in the afternoon with a group from the United States, and they have sent me a Zoom link. So I'm going to probably be doing that recording directly with them, not with an episode of The Power of Islands, unless you have a way of connecting both of the video conference calls together. Can we do a
No.
Google Meet and a Google
Yeah,
Zoom?
but you have to have the app in your mobile phone, or you have to use computer. The problem is you, because you just
Yes.
have one mobile phone there. So you have to choose
Right.
or Zoom or Google.
Yeah, I think for tomorrow's activity, where I'm just going to let them do the recording,
Yeah, but
and so
ask it to them to put the video in YouTube as well, because Zoom, I know that you can do that with Zoom.
yeah. Well, these are the things that we need to spend a little bit of time in iron out some of the logistics and the details of how we're actually making this happen. It's the administration. It's how we're communicating, and we need to get a system. It manages itself so that in the future we don't have a lot of humans that are trying to do these tasks. We want to utilize AI systems as much as possible, and scheduling systems and interview systems so that the computer can do those communications. Like with Rob, it's been almost impossible for me to communicate with him because he's
Yeah, it
so
was
busy.
difficult. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
But
so He's so
today, do
busy.
you have another one today?
Yes, right at in 30 minutes, right
All right.
after this show. Right after
Yeah,
the show,
have a
we're
check with the guys if it's all right, if everything is confirmed, and then we can talk in the WhatsApp. You open the link again in 30 minutes, so you can close
okay.
that one out,
Yeah, close
please.
this one out. I just want to apologize for anyone that bared with and stayed with this, or has fast forward to the end of the video, the live stream that we're doing. This is the Power of Islands podcast. I am the host, David the Indian, and we are going to be ending this particular episode. Unfortunately, Rob Gawther was not able to join us. We'll try to reschedule Rob for a later date. Okay. And so we're signing off for now. I think this is episode number 9, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So in a few minutes, we'll start with episode 10, and that is with a very special friend and dear person in my life. Her name is Pamela Gregory, and she is with Forgiveness Healing for Humanity, which is her organization. And she's going to be talking about how forgiveness actually is necessary for us to be healthy, and that all disease, especially her area of cancer research and therapies, comes from and stems from emotional conditions that are attached to not forgiving, to be from the moments and experiences of trauma in our human development that genetically, or epigenetically, I should say, that we have these pre-existing conditions just because we have not forgiven the people in our lives, including ourselves, for the pain and suffering that we endure. And it's not always a person that's trying to hurt you, or you're trying to hurt yourself. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. It's complicated to be human, and having relationships means to have some problems as you go along. And if we can forgive, that doesn't mean that we forget. We don't need to forget. We need to remember so that we never make those mistakes again in our life, and that we always remember that unconditional love first comes from ourself. So we do need to be selfish. Selfish is not a bad word. Once we unconditionally love ourselves, then all we know how to do naturally is to love everyone else unconditionally. And so that's all for this episode. Once again, my name is David the Indian, and I'm your host of the Power of Islands podcast. Signing off for now.